Hello everyone and welcome to my channel Mission 100. My name is Nadeem and I make videos about my life in Beijing and share sometimes useful, sometimes useless experiences and information about things that I find interesting, like Chinese food, history, culture, parks, gotta go to parks. So if that tickles your fancy, if that floats your boat, please make sure to subscribe to my channel and turn the notification button on, and hopefully I will see you on weekly basis. With that out of the way, let's dive into today's theme. Buildings, buildings, buildings. We live in them, we work in them, and we take pictures of them because some structures are just too iconic and stunning not to be immortalized on our phones or Instagrams. And Beijing is in no short supply of architectural wonders. And this one is not one of them. So whether you're a traveler to the city or a resident like myself, some places are just worth your time, worth your visit. And that's exactly what we're going to do today. We are going to go do some sightseeing. It's gonna be fun, it's gonna be fancy, but because Beijing is a big city and has a lot of buildings, believe it or not, we are going to be selective. So we're not going to go for anything that is ancient, anything from the past, no pagodas, no temples, no Forbidden City stuff. We're gonna keep it modern, fresh, and hopefully fun. It is a bright day today, so let's get exploring. Top on my list is this building right here. The headquarters of CCTV China Central Television, the Chinese public broadcaster, and it is synonymous with Beijing. It is so famous that even Ryan Reynolds took a selfie with it. And I know what you're wondering, what is it? Well, it is whatever you want it to be. The designer of this building, a Dutchman named Rem Koolhaas, really emphasizes on the unpredictability and versatility of his design. And so he says that this is a building of many personalities. It's a building that presents itself differently from different angles. So from the side, it looks like the letter Z. From front, it looks like a loop. And if one disgruntled Chinese critic who was not a fan of this structure is to be believed, it looks like a woman on her hands and knees, even though by any fragment of imagination, this is a stretch. And despite the massiveness of this structure, it is sort of dwarfed by the buildings surrounding it here in the central business district. And this is actually intentional. The conceptualization of this building took place in the early 2000s, and that was before China was witnessing this era of mega structures, of super tall towers. And the team of architects and designers sort of anticipated this era and wanted to preemptively not focus on height. And so they wanted the design to be what this building stands for and not how high into the sky it goes. And standing out it does. This is an icon of Beijing and one of the stars of the city's skyline. And right across the street from CCTV Tower is this mighty, massive building that keeps growing and going and going up in the sky. This is the tallest building in Beijing at 528 meters. I've been trying to get myself and the entirety of the structure in one frame, but from such a short distance, it is not happening. So this building is called CITIC Building, and it is the newest edition of the CBD's architectural canon, having opened in 2018. It's known as Zhongguo Zun. Zhongguo is China, Zun is a type of wine vessel with a broad base and a broad rim, and is cinched in the middle, and it was used in ancient China during rituals. I wanted to take a few steps away from the structure just so I can give you a bit of perspective and show you how the design really mimics the shape of the Zun vessel. You can see the tapered waist and then the broad top, which is quite uncharacteristic of skyscrapers, of buildings this tall, because usually mega structures tend to be very pointy towards the top just so they can squeeze in a few extra centimeters, a bit of extra height. And another interesting fact about this building is that this tapered waist is not quite in the middle of the building. It's actually a little bit going towards the top, and this is intentional. This is by design. The city planners really wanted that pinch point to be seen from around town. They wanted the movement of the building to be visible from afar, and so one condition that they had was that pinch point to be above the rest of the megastructures in the CBD, well above the height of the surrounding buildings. And so it's not in the middle, it's about 3/4 of the way to the top. And in fact, you could see it from around the city. I can see it from here, and here, and from here, and here. A couple of blocks away from the CBD Central Business District, you can find this beautiful thing. This is the headquarters of the largest private broadcaster in China, Phoenix TV. And this building is as legendary as the legendary bird that the media organization is named after. I mean, this is curvaceous, see-through, and very pleasant to look at, I find. Online, it has been likened to a donut, to a ring, to Mobius strip, which is this twisted cylinder that sort of looks like an infinity loop. And unlike the first two buildings that we saw, this one is designed by a local firm. And at the time, it was heralded as this shift from made in China to created in China, in a sign that the country has homegrown talents that are capable of coming up with modern, bold, avant-garde designs like this. And this structure, by the way, is two structures in one. First, you have the office towers, two of them, each shaped like a kidney, which are then covered by this beautiful shell of steel and glass panels. The Phoenix's nest, but not the only nest in Beijing. Just in time. Ta-da! The bird's nest. It's actually the largest bird nest I've ever seen. This is China's national stadium, and it was built for the 2008 Summer Olympics to host the opening ceremony as well as a few sporting events. And it was used again this year for the 2022 Winter Olympics, also to host the opening ceremony. And even though it is called Bird's Nest, the design team did not have any feathered animal in mind when they came up with the concept. They actually wanted to put a modern twist on traditional Chinese culture. So the stadium itself is round in shape, and in feng shui, round symbolizes heaven. Another Olympic venue called the Water Cube, which in 2008 hosted the swimming competitions, and it's just a few meters from here, is a cube, so square, which symbolizes in feng shui earth, whereas this one is heaven. And this incredible lattice work of steel that sort of encircles the stadium itself is supposed to be reminiscent of crazing, which is this decorative effect on ceramics where you have tiny cracks on the surface. But this is a creation of steel, a dramatic amount of steel was used in the making of this structure. 42,000 ton just for this netting. And when you remove all the beams and the columns of steel, as well as like all these loopy, twisty strips, put them on the ground from end to end, they would total 36 kilometers. And if that's not impressive, I don't know what is. Galaxy Soho, but this is not your average run-of-the-mill office building slash mall. This is designed by the one, the only, the legendary Zaha Hadid. It is curvy, it is fluid, it is almost sculpture-like. This structure is made of 4 domes that are connected with these bridges and platforms, and together they open in this open air space in the middle. And the most interesting part of all this is that there are no sharp turns or acute angles. All the moving parts in this building are connected very seamlessly and sort of melt together smoothly. The design behind Galaxy Soho came from the Soho Yuan, which is a type of traditional residence very characteristic of Beijing. They are usually made of 4 rooms that open into a courtyard. So the 4 rooms are the 4 domes, and the courtyard is the open air space. And you see these white floor plates? They start small on the top and sort of widen on their way down. These are supposed to mimic rice terraces in southern China. The designers wanted to bring a natural element to their concept, and voila. I still have one more item on my list that I want to show you, so let's get going.
1 hour later.
And last but not least, the National Center for the Performing Arts. I wanted to keep this for last because I was so intrigued by the background story of the design, given that there were so many considerations to take into account. On the one hand, building a national theater is no light affair, given that there's so much symbolism that they carry and that they develop this like intricate, intimate connection with the identity of the city and even the country. Think of La Scala in Milan or the Opera House in Sydney. So that was one thing. On the other hand, you have to take into consideration the area where this venue was supposed to be built. This is the most historically significant part of Beijing. The Forbidden City is just meters away. It was the home of the emperors, and to this day is the geographic center of Beijing. There's also Tiananmen Square and the Great Hall of the People, which is the main building for government events. So there needed to be a balancing act in coming up with a design. On the one hand, it needed to make a statement without sticking out like a sore thumb. It needed to show individuality and originality without clashing with its surroundings. And the end result is this mesmerizing dome of titanium, and in the middle there's these glass panels to give the illusion of curtains being pulled away because this is a theater. It is not boxy, it is not towering, it is horizontal, 212 meter long, in keeping up with the architecture surrounding it. It has a man-made lake, water, and a lot of greenery around it to sort of hark back at the imperial gardens of the Forbidden City. And because of the way it looks, this building has been nicknamed the Egg. But don't be fooled, this egg right here has no cracks in it. The designer, French architect Paul Andreu, wanted the shell to be intact, untouched, pure, unadulterated, and so he made the entrance underground. And to get into the rooms, the inners of this building, you have to go through a tunnel, which the architect said is sort of a transition between the outer world, the city, the hustle, the noise, and the inner world of this building, a world of music, of artistic performances, of serenity. I don't know how he did it, but he pulled it off. This is a true landmark of Beijing. And with this, we come to the end of this video. These are my top picks of the most instantly recognizable Beijing structures. I think that these buildings sort of represent the city. They have come to define it in my eyes. This is not a complete list by all means. There are plenty of other structures out there that are equally important, but for today, these were my picks. If you have any recommendations, I would love to hear from you. If you like this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up, and I will see you next time. 再见。你好。你好。